As Brett said, my name is Mike Killen. I'm the farm manager here at the research station. Is everybody really sure they haven't seen lightning? As you can see, this is a winter wheat with different seeding dates and planting rate study. I want to give you just a little brief history on why we're doing this. It's a pretty minor crop here in the Bighorn Basin, but we do get a question or two a year about planting dates on winter wheat, and there are a couple growers in the area raising it. But the main reason for this project was the Crop Research Foundation of Wyoming, which is made up of a group of wheat growers in the southeast, led by Keith Kennedy with the Wheat Marketing Commission, approached us to look at the feasibility of growing breeder seed here at Powell, and we could clean it in our foundation seed cleaning building and whatnot, and we just didn't really have any real good hard data on planting dates. And then the other thing we wanted to look at was seeding rates. Because of these elite lines of breeder seed, there'd be very little seed available for increase. And so we wanted to look at real low rates, as low as 20 pounds per acre, and see what kind of yield we could get, as well as maybe delayed planting dates while we were waiting for the seed to be turned around in Colorado from harvest to being processed so we could plant it. So as you can see, and I should back up a little bit, the Crop Research Foundation, their main goal was to work with wheat breeding programs in Nebraska and Colorado to look at some of their elite lines that maybe they weren't going to release, but were very well adapted to Wyoming, and they saw that as an opportunity to get their hands on some varietal material that would be of benefit to Wyoming, and so they formed that organization, and so we were happy to work with them. As you can see, we have several planting dates starting September 15th and every 15 days after that through November 15th. And then we stuck in 2 spring planting dates just to kind of see what would happen. Our intent was to get them planted a little bit earlier than we did, but a couple things happened that delayed us from getting that done. But as you can see, the March 23rd planting date did have a little bit of vernalization and enabled the plant to go ahead and form a seed head, but the April 11th planting date did not, and there's virtually no seed heads in that strip. So within each strip, there's replicated plots of the low seeding rate being the 20 pounds that we wanted to look at to see if that was enough to get adequate yield for a seed increase, and then we went with a 90-pound seeding rate as our standard. We did increase that by 15 pounds every planting date. So by the end of the study, we were at 150 pounds plus on the later planting dates. A couple just take-home messages. This is the variety we tested was called Settler CL. It was a winter wheat with kind of a mid-range winter hardiness score. The borders, particularly this corner, is buckskin winter wheat, and you can see it's a lot taller variety, and it did go down on us. We had several irrigation timings that were during some pretty strong winds, and it did go down. We also have a pretty high nitrogen rate. We put on 200 pounds on this plot, 200 pounds of N per acre. A couple things that stand out to me, and of course we haven't harvested yet, so I can't share with you any data, but it was amazing to me, first of all, that it overwintered as well as it did. We watered the first planting date up on September 15th and watered the whole field at that time, hoping there'd be enough moisture to plant into later after the irrigation water went out of the canal. So we watered the first planting date up, and then we received several rains at the end of September and the first part of October, and so we never irrigated again after that. I mean, even before the water went out of the canal about the 20th of October, we just had an inch and a half of rain, and so we didn't water it. But we had a very dry winter and no snow, and in February I came out here and looked, and the ground was really cracked and very dry. I thought, well, we've lost the winter wheat, but it amazed me how well it stuck in there and survived even with this very dry winter we had. The other thing that surprises me is, and you can probably see it from the trailer, is the low seeding rates look almost as good as the higher seeding rates. It just really stools out well and filled in nicely. So that was a big surprise to me how well that did. But hopefully here in a week or two we'll get it harvested and we'll have some hard data on how it turned out. Is there any questions? Oh, Pamela?
Yeah, it looks like really image to me, like 20 pound versus 120 pound or 105 pound. So did you take any growth observation? We don't know how much CD would be here. It's little shorter than other side. But did you notice any growth difference from early spring until now? Like the growth difference, anything other than CD? Because you don't know the CD now. Because it's amazing, like it's like very same, right? 20 pound versus 105 pound or 120.
Yeah, it was real similar. I mean, when it came up, you could see the different seeding rates. I mean, it was very visible when it first emerged. But even the low rate stooled out and tillered out so well that, right now you can't visibly see it.